take notes is good too. And chat, spelling and grammar amnesty is in play. So just use as much as you can the chat. And Fernando, over to you.
I'm just putting in the chat. So if you don't have the chat open, keep it open, because we also put things in the chat. Not sure if everybody knows, but we are Brazilians. We have been living in Canada for 12 years, but we still have this accent. So some people don't notice. What does this accent come from? It comes from Brazil. And by the way, Carolina and I, we come from different regions, so we have different accents. Just to make things easier. Okay, today is designing together. This is one thing that we notice. Lots of clients, they come to us. I think it started happening in the last couple of years. People asking for help to design better events. And it's been very fun because we have to understand how people operate, what they are usually doing. And then we suggest some things because we have some experience doing this. We have been doing this for more than 20 years. So we have something to contribute. But it's very delicate because people have a way to do things, to run events or to do their consulting. So we have to be very careful about what we offer and how to co-design together. So it's nice to do it as a couple. So Carolina and I, we do it together. And we have very different opinions. So the client usually has different options to choose from, and then we assemble this together. So we'll try to explore this process with you. It's an experiment that we are planning here. But we also want you to explore how is it to co-create with other people. So you have time for you to co-create based on a real challenge that we'll find in some minutes. Okay, I think that's the disclaimer, just to get people aware where they are. If they click on a link and end up here, welcome. Just raise your hand who is here for the first time, who never been in a virtual facilitation practice. So we have Robin and Michelle. Welcome. I hope you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else, Carolina? Impromptu networking?
Yeah, so just to get connected. So Maria, you want to say something? No? Okay.
No,
I think you did that and you're...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's automatic. Zoom
Yeah.
recognizes the hand and clicks the hand.
So yeah, we love impromptu networking, and because it's a way to connect people, and a very good way to start a practice or a meeting. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna be in pairs and 4 minutes, and we're gonna have three rounds. So the questions that you're gonna answer for and talk with the person, it's those that I just put in the chat. So what is your experience co-designing events or experience, and what do you hope to get and give to this group? So those questions, and have fun talking to someone. And we're gonna have 3 rounds.
See you in 4 minutes. In Teams, but in Zoom, have a try. It's working great.
Oh, nice. Well, thanks.
Okay, people are here.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works, Felix. Here we go again. 4 minutes. Okay, so let me recreate the rooms randomly.
Welcome everybody, and we have more people coming, and you're gonna have the last round. Same questions. Have fun.
Let me see one thing.
Nice.
É México, Carolina.
México.
México.
Prêmios do Brasil nos Oscars.
Ah, foi muy bueno.
Beautiful film to watch, especially when you know the history of that beautiful country.
Oh yeah, if you know what happened.
Yeah.
Chapeau.
Yeah, I was very emotional.
Welcome back.
Okay, we are here, and what we are gonna do now. So I'm gonna put in the chat the information, but what we need is someone, one person who will be the client. So in order to design a session or to start like thinking about a designing, it's good to have a case. So we need someone who has a case or an event or training or class or gathering, anything that you want to design something, and you want some specialists or some consultants to help you with it. So who has an event or something that want to be the client here?
So the idea is to choose by reading what the cases are. So you'll be writing in the chat what is the case, give it a title. And after we have a few, everybody's invited to give a thumbs up of the ones who are more promising. So let's write and see what comes up.
Yeah, so write a title and describe it in 3 short phrases. So very, very briefly, what is your event? And if you have like 2, 3, 4, then we can do the thumbs up and see which one it's gonna be voted. So please write in the chat the title of your event, like Mark, it's already there. Strategic planning workshop. Nice, thank you, Mark. Michelle, what is your event? 1 second.
This will actually occur in May, so I need your help if you pick this one.
The lobby starts.
Yeah.
Maria, give some more context. Yeah. You hit enter. If you hit shift enter, you break the line.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think you can edit the message. Try to edit the message. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so interesting, things coming up.
We could have a 6-hour practice.
Yeah, I feel the 90 minutes is too short.
Mm. The lobby in the chat as well. Yeah, it's hard to choose, but let's try our best. Maybe the criteria is there. Which case feels more challenging or compelling or valuable to the group? Knowing that we will not be solving the case or designing a full agenda, but we'll be exploring different options and giving the client more like a bigger repertoire to choose from and maybe assemble something. We don't have time for a full agenda. I think it's time for a thumbs up, Carolina. Yeah, they're starting.
Yeah, it's already there. We have hearts and a thumbs up.
Yeah, any icon serves.
Yeah, anything.
Good question, Catherine. I think you can do more than one, maybe a couple. Yeah, we were tied. Now we are not tied anymore. No, we are tied. Yeah, we have 5 and 5.
5.
No, now we have
Now.
Vancouver is on the lead. Yeah, I think Lindsay is the winner. Is that right? Yeah, by far now.
Yes.
Okay, Lindsay.
Yay!
Do I have to do something?
I have to do
Free consulting today. Okay, Mark, we can offer support for you later as well. Yeah, maybe we can offer a time with people later. So nice events.
I know where to find you all.
Yeah, good. Okay, Carolina, let's check. We have Lindsay as a client and 3 groups, 4, 4, and 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how are we going to work? We will be doing this is the experimental part. We are mashing Fishbowl with wise crowds. So if you know what I'm talking, you can try to understand what it is. Will be the wise Fishbowl crowds. So the first step we'll have, like in a fishbowl, Carolina and I and Lindsay. And Lindsay is the client. She'll present the challenge in 3 minutes. So Lindsay, this is the time you have to organize your thoughts to be clear in 3 minutes. After these 3 minutes, Carolina and I will be asking clarifying questions. And after the 6 minutes, you'll be in breakout. So you have 3 consulting groups discussing which questions should you ask to get more information about this case. And then you come back, and each group you shoot some questions. You have 12 minutes in total to these questions and answers from the client. And then we will again have a time together as a consulting group to come up with ideas and options. And then we'll give you an artifact to work together so you can visualize what you're saying and give the client this consulting. Is that clear, the experiment? First step, Carolina and I and Lindsay. I'll bring them to the spotlight and take notes as a consultant group. And let me add, where is Lindsay?
I'm here.
Where is the client? We need a client.
Here.
Run away.
There you go.
The client's gone.
Ah.
And we'll be unforgiven with the time, Lindsay. So 3 minutes for you. What is the case? Tell us, what help do you need?
Okay, well, the case is a really exciting project where many people, where a vision of one person who is got the vision of turning an inlet creek that goes into an urban space. It has been cut off. It used to be flowing as a creek, but it's become quite stagnant. And this area is in the heart of Vancouver. And where the idea to bestow personhood to this natural entity is being surfaced. This has happened in a few places in the world. So there's a legal designation given to these groups. And there have been about a dozen not-for-profits that have been working in this area for a long time. They have come together. They've come together with levels of government. There's a lot of complexity with this body of water. Federal governments are involved, provincial and municipal. And so there are, and then of course, in Toronto, Vancouver, which is where I am, First Nations are very heavily involved as well. So we've got this First Nations component that it's a matter of pulling First Nations, building a community, a geographical community. It's really trying to coalesce and pull together all of the components. And then the question is, how might these groups work together? How might they set up something so they have some kind of integrated autonomy, but so they can work separately on their own, maybe pull constellations together for shared impact. But is how do we really, what are the pieces? How might we begin so people feel there's energy, they can tell where you're headed, and feel like they're building something together? How do you communicate that so it's easy and light and agile? How's my time, Fernando?
You have a minute.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, I think there's a real interesting opportunity, right, to build a platform or to experiment with a platform that is really it's sort of it could be a model of how people can get together, figure out that voice. But to me, this entity, of course, is in the ocean, and it comes in and out as the tide does, in the same way that our neighbors come in and out, the people. So for me, the container needs to kind of have this sense of a membrane where things can flow in and out, just like organizations change and people come in and out. It has to have that dynamic piece to it. So it's really what is the process that's not going to take too much time? Because these organizations are so busy. How can we do it simply, agilely, and come up with these little diamonds that they can integrate and be autonomous, have these shared pieces?
Questions, Carolina?
Yeah, how many people? I think you said something here. How many people will be involved?
Yeah, the universe is from how many hundreds?
This is the question I'm kind of putting out there in a way. In previous meetings, there's been between 25 and 50 people, and they're people who operate even on the level of the UN and things like that. So the fellow's got some heavy hitters. Often there's one or two from different organizations or managers of areas along Falls Creek. Police force have come in to be aware. So I guess the sky's the limit in a way. But there are probably 6 or 7 not-for-profits, absolutely, and about 6 or 7 waiting to see what's going on. But city is involved. Maybe the question is who needs to be involved and how might
So you don't have an exact number, right?
well, the thing is, it's how do you hold space for a number that changes?
And do you know how many leaders are involved in this? Beyond you trying to make this happen, how many people are involved in leading?
I'm going to say there's probably 50 or 60 people who are very captivated by that, willing to bring institutional spaces for people, conversations, and probably many, many more. Whether or not they're interested in coming to strategic, interested or have the time to come to strategic, it's how do you place it and it will be a moving and evolving thing over the years. It's how do you put those mechanisms in place so it's clear and it's not unlike this co-design
timeline. What is your timeline for this?
Do you imagine that in an organizational event?
Mark, just a minute, Mark.
Oh.
What is the timeline, Lindsay, for this project as a whole?
I think to set it up, I'm going to say 1 year.
1 year, okay.
And the project will be ongoing forever.
We hope so. So let me.
Mark,
actually, let's make it 2 years.
Remove all the spotlights. What you have now will be 6 minutes. 6 or 5, Carolina? 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
To get in the consulting groups, to craft questions, and then you have the questions. So Juan, I saw your hand up, Mark as well. So you have time to come back and ask the questions. Okay, but first, with your consulting group, refine your questions to get more information from Lindsay. See you in a bit.
Hello, Jenna. Welcome.
Jenna just arrived. Welcome. So let's get Jenna up to speed.
Hope it's okay. I couldn't get here before. Is it okay to pop on late?
Yes,
It
yes.
is.
Okay, great.
So what is happening now, Jenna, is that Lindsay is a client and she has a real case to work on. And I will just copy and paste in the chat quickly. But maybe, Lindsay, you can use this 4 minutes, maybe 3 minutes to explain again for Jenna now with more clarity. What is your challenge and what support you need?
The challenge is really to build a governance structure and model for a group that it will be used moving forward to hold the group of people that are forming the voice of a natural entity. So there have been people working with this natural entity. It's a water body. And it's how do these people work together and hold their own focuses and get or develop an agile voice for government and even have government involved, but to hold the space for speaking for a natural entity. Because when governments change, the needs of those natural entities don't change. So it's coming up with something consistent so that things get looked after. It's so that this water body is looked after by the people who care about it.
Okay.
So what we are gonna do, Jana, we are gonna have like some groups to design a session for Lindsay for this case.
And
So
we
it's-
have 3 consulting groups, so you'll be part of one of them.
Yeah, so the main
yeah.
purpose
And
of
so it's
our
designing an event for these people to develop their own governance structure.
Well, it's maybe
To start the
design-
process, right?
Or designing a process, yes.
And I think it's interesting to put something smaller in terms of to help people design. So if you think about like a first meeting with the
Yes.
leaders,
Yes.
something like
The
that.
first
So to
engagement.
start off, yeah.
Yes, where you can put out the intention moving forward and can show that that first meeting is really productive. You know, so they'll come to the next one.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank
let's frame this first one.
Thank you.
Yeah, otherwise it's too big and then
Yes.
people can get lost, right?
Yes, it's that first one, so they build trust, and let's make it a 3-hour meeting.
Can be, yeah.
First 3
With
hours.
food, 4 hours.
Well, it sounds like not just build trust, but build enthusiasm and like excitement about engaging in the process.
Well, they're already enthusiastic, engaged. What it's really about is getting that governance model so that they can start co-creating something that's got some powerful, it's got a voice that illegally can be heard because it's a legal bestowing of personhood to a natural entity that they're trying to achieve.
Okay, so when you
And
said you want
also-
to have them, oh, sorry.
Right, no, I was thinking, so you're gonna have like First Nation people, community, like the region, people who are around that region, and also the
City.
city. So you have all
That's the vision. That's the vision.
Mhm.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you said that you want this first meeting to be such that they'll say, oh, yes, I want to come to the next meeting, I thought that was about enthusiasm and motivation, but it sounds like, is that just more about trust, or what's the thing that you need to build that's gonna get them to return?
The thing we need to build is a way for people to collaborate together and to find how they co-create a voice, how to govern that piece.
Okay, my question was different. What's the element what's the experience they need to walk away with that will make them return again?
I
Yes.
think it might be coming up with I would say the principles for what might be the shared principles that would help be the North Star for anything that might be the first step, but I think they also have to understand what the next steps are and where we might be trying to go, what those lily pads that we're putting down. That's what I suspect.
And do you think there is enough clarity around the purpose, Lindsay?
Yes.
Okay. People will be here in 15 seconds, and then maybe Carolina, I'll put you and Lindsay on the spotlight, and I'll bring people from the consulting groups to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Why me?
Because you are a good facilitator.
I'm not a client. I'm no one.
But you know what, Carolina, you can help clarify and keep it contained.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me ask consulting group 1, Andrea, Juan, Laurie, and Meg, who is coming to ask the question?
Go
Just so-
Juan.
Is Juan?
What I did is I typed the questions from my group. And we have actually 7 or 8 questions. How shall we go about that, Fernando? Shall I
Start with
just throw
one.
the questions?
I think time is a good limit.
Yeah, 3 minutes. So shoot
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Okay. So we shared our perspectives. We were, how will the process start? We think this is about power relations. We think this is about understanding who the stakeholders should be and what are their own specificities in terms of agenda, interests, points of view, etc. Also, we thought it would be interesting, and the question we ask is, will there be an initial team, like a steering group, to define how to go about the process you are asking for? The next question is there a space for a neutral facilitator? Considering that there's so much at stake and there's so many agendas and interests and investments and power relations. What is the end result that the process is looking for? Who are going to be the decision makers? In other words, who will be bestowing the personhood and who will be in this group calling the shots and defining what are the decisions? And lastly, what are the end results you're looking for in some very tangible ways? How does this bestowing the personhood looks like in terms of end result, but also end result to the process itself? Not only bestowing the personhood, but a clean, respectful, just whatever process that can be replicated and modeled elsewhere. Right, because you spoke about that.
Yeah.
I want to open the mic for my group to jump in.
I think you have a lot of questions. Maybe it's good for Lindsay to answer some and bring a frame also.
Okay. Okay, thank you for those questions. And I think that I will speak to them. I think the idea is really to do that first 3-hour meeting, sort of sketching where the areas where we're going to touch and to just build excitement that if we work together, we'll find a way to speak together. Yes, I think you're right. It's a little bit about power relationships, but I think the vision is so big that they're drawn to the vision. And so, but there's always power comes into it, but there's nothing that's too overt at this point. The stakeholders, I think everyone's trying to say that everybody is a stakeholder. Everybody is, the world is, the planet is a stakeholder, but the governments are, there's stakeholders on all levels, and there's wins for everybody. Right now, there is a steering committee. I'm a little bit nervous of steering committees. I personally would like to come up with a way that is a little bit more porous, where there's a more porous kind of a thing. But right now, there is a steering committee. They are going about it more conventionally. Yes, there is space for a neutral facilitator, and I think what we're trying to frame is, if this is the first meeting that you're getting people together who are excited around a vision and who want to work together to make that happen, what do we have to show in that first meeting so they come that is possible to have a governance for a voice that can speak to government? What do we need to show in order for them to get excited about the process of developing this personhood, this legal framework for personhood? And in order to come to the next one, do we need to, is it too early to really nail a purpose? And maybe we need to nail some principles. Again, this integrated autonomy, I think, is a piece, is how do we operate here and here, what are the gives and gets? But how to really make it, I guess, yes, is how do we make that first meeting happen? Decision makers, again, I think it's collaborative decision making. Carolina?
Yeah, so I think we have to open for the other group.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of things, and it's just to remind that we are gonna see, like, to have that frame of the first meeting and 3 hours. And so second group, Catherine, Felix, Christy, Linnea, and Michelle, who wants to come here too. So raise your hand and we're gonna put you in the spotlight. Who wants to? I mean, we are adding, right? So
Open the mic and say who is coming. It's easier.
yeah, and I think Lindsay, it's already like answer a lot of questions. Maybe you have same questions, but maybe you have one or another that just wasn't answered yet. So who wants to come from the second group?
I could share a couple of things I heard from our group. A couple things were, what conflict dynamics do you anticipate might arise? Possible pushbacks. What are the legal authorizations that need to happen? Really good one was, what are some of the lessons learned already? For instance, what has already not worked or worked for some of the people that are involved in this or this coalition?
Interesting. Thank you. I can just say there's so far no evidence of any conflicts at all. It's which is bizarre. There's no if there's an area that we're very thoughtful about is the Indigenous community, and really, because that's pulling the Indigenous community into this group of, scientists and evidence-based people. Like it's that I think is the space that is going to be most new for people to hold. I'm going to say, but we've got legal lawyers sort of working and listening and working collaboratively. So it's the lessons learned already interesting, and that as I note that down because I can dig into that more than just what I'm seeing. There's stuff under the iceberg there, I'm sure. Thank you.
And I think Michelle has a question. Yeah.
Oh, yes. In terms of process, I was interested to hear that when Lindsay answered the second set of questions, is like, I'm focusing. She wants a fabulous 3 hours. She wants a fabulous first meeting for people to show up again. And I think our group kind of went down the road further.
Right.
And I think, when I'm listening to the client, I'm like, she just wants a hell of a good thing for people to come back for round 2.
And
is that, and I didn't hear that in the first bit. So listening skills.
Thank you. I think what happened is we reframed it to keep it simpler. I can say everybody is super excited about it already. So they're committed to the vision. It's really how creating the pieces of what people need for governance. How do we ask that question? What do you need for governance? And yes, I'm seeing a note in the chat. Yes, absolutely would consider a co-facilitator from First Nations. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, and let's go for the third group. So Maria, Mark, Monica, and Robin. So any other question that you want to add here?
And I
Maria,
want to add
go
one
ahead.
other thing, though, as I would also consider a whole group of facilitators. I think the more facilitators are around this project, the better.
Who is coming from the consulting group 3?
Maria.
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 I am coming.
I think so, Maria.
Okay, I'll do it. Well, yes, actually, our questions were, some of them, Lindsay, you already gave the answer, but we were saying about how does this 3-hour meeting look like? It's going to be virtual, it's going to be presential. That's like a main basic question, but it relates like how are you going to do the
in
conversations in
person.
person?
Yeah.
And so also we wanted to understand if there are some hierarchies in the different organizations and NGOs that are like they're all the same importance. There's one more important than other ones, that like the power map that Juan Antonio was talking about before. But yes, we believe that it's an interesting way to map the different organizations, no, the different stakeholders. And also, well, we were talking about what is the main purpose or the why of that specific meeting, no? That I don't know the name of the lady that just talked about the listening skills, but yes, what is it exactly that you need to get out of that meeting? Because if it's, as she said, you need to keep them energized and to keep the flow, so the second meeting takes place and then you start working in deeper levels. So you will need to address that moment more specifically. And I don't know, Monica and Mark, if there's something else that I'm forgetting about that we talked about.
What is the definition and process for becoming the body of water up to achieve personhood? What's the background for that?
There are many things in different parts of the world. So in terms of that, and so it's going to be different in every jurisdiction. And in this particular, we need people in the federal, provincial, and municipal working together to make that happen. It's actually very complex, and it'll shift, but it will require a lot of just goodwill and communication. In terms of the power map, I think what the opportunity might be here is to try to create a governance model that balances power, the power map, right? And to me, it's like, here's how it's happening. Here's how you can give input if you can't make it in meeting. But ideally, you'd want to have, well, I don't know what the ideally thing is, but breaking down that, flattening that hierarchy of power as much as we can, because that's where I'm coming from. But what I want out of this meeting is that all of these groups together can believe that if they work together, they will get wins from it, they will get direction from it, they'll have their own autonomy, and they will have a voice where they will be heard and have input to what moves forward. How do we create that?
Yeah, so I think that now we can explore more and more and more and keep like our 90 minutes just exploring it because it's very rich case. But we want to start designing together. It's what we are here for. And so you're gonna have 15 minutes to do that in a group. And so just remember that it will be like a design for a first meeting of how many people, Linton?
Let's say 60.
60 people, and like different groups of people like there to be invited. And yeah, three hours meeting, and the first meeting to
And
start
just to make our work lighter, don't think about designing a full session in details. If you give Lindsay lots of good ideas and elements, maybe elements in order, it's a good place to end up in 15 minutes. So go until you can. Don't fight too much about the best ideas, but take notes using the document that is in the chat. It's a Google Slides. And if you need any help in the tech, just let us know and we can jump in the breakouts.
Yeah.
See you in 15. And of course, you have to present something at the end. So be mindful that you have a presentation at the end. We'll be sharing.
Someone is going to present.
See you. And we will stay here in the main room with Lindsay and Jenna working together on the slide 8. We are the consulting group 4.
Oh, Jenna, Monica's here. No.
Oh, Jenna is supposed to be here. Where is Jenna?
She left.
Did she send a message or something?
No, but she dropped.
Yeah, she dropped. Anyway, here we go. Consulting group 4. We are there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry
Maybe I will put in the, should I put in the no screen, Carolina, or? No, let's discuss and we take notes. Do you see the document, Lindsay, on your side?
I'm just opening it now. Yes, thank you.
So let's work, Carolina. One thing that I really want to put over there, it's a connection moment.
Mm-hmm.
That can be many things, and also a clarifying purpose. Clarifying and maybe restating the purpose together.
Or, yeah, creating a purpose together.
Yeah, the purpose already exists. It's actually the calling, but we need to clarify it as a group and maybe rewrite in some way that it's more like they have ownership of the purpose.
I think they have one purpose, but not their purpose. Yes. You know, this is a different thing. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
I believe that also it's important to, in a way, how to say that? Oh, change everything here.
Yeah, I share the screen just to put records.
I see.
Say it again.
Yeah, it's to acknowledge which groups are there representing there. You know, like if you have First Nation people, the city people, or, you know, the neighborhood.
Separate to integrate. Do you know this universal law?
Yeah.
Nothing can be integrated if it was not properly separated. So we need to.
That's so cool. Yes. That's really important. I totally agree.
Yeah, one exercise that we did in one conference at IF, it was a trilingual conference. So we have people from different countries speaking English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So we did a movement with the group. It was like 100 people.
Yeah.
So we asked the people to move as countries. So they got connected as countries. And then we asked them to move as languages. So they separated in English, Portuguese, and Spanish.
Yeah.
And then we invite them to be in between. So if you speak more than one language, stay in between these groups. So then we have the groups in between. And then if you speak the 3 languages, come to the center.
Yeah, cool.
And everybody look around. So, these are the gatekeepers of the languages around us. So maybe something similar can be done.
Interesting.
Different groups.
Yes, interesting.
You know? It's a physical process that people acknowledge each other.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of obvious. You see the group. And you also see the size of the groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
What else, Carolina? Have good ideas.
No, I was thinking of rituals. So what kind of rituals each of these groups want to bring in? And start like having, you know, like every time that you have a meeting, you have a ritual to start, for example. And what is important for your group?
Mm-hmm.
And to start and close,
And I was thinking, the vision,
You put purpose, yes.
The compelling. Yeah, the purpose, it's one thing, but the compelling vision is another thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wonder how.
The purpose, it's why, and the compelling vision is it's what for.
Yes.
And also to communicate that for the larger group.
Yes.
So yeah, I think those, like the why and the what for, it's a good way to start thinking about like how to communicate to the broader group.
Yes.
Because I can see in this project like circles.
Yes.
Right, so one circle that is working here, and then another one, and then another one, and you know, like you can.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
If they get funding, for facilitators, I might just knock on your door.
Please.
Because I really think that this is something that the more people who are there is the best way to go.
And also have a coordinator. Like if you have a lot of facilitators, you need to have someone like, you know, coordinating.
Yeah.
Or the circles can meet.
Yes. Yeah, just building that neutral body of facilitators really. In fact, maybe that ends up being the magic to the whole thing. A neutral body of facilitators who have shared purposes, like principles and
just putting some structures to some boxes.
I don't know what your experience is with 9 Wives, but I often find it really tricky.
Yeah, for us, it's like it's almost everyday thing.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, one way. Do you remember in the immersion? I think we did this way with the phrase at the end, the nine words phrase.
Yeah. That we exist too.
Yeah. The tricky part is to state properly the invitation. Something very broad, like why is important for you to be here, or something more specific. Why is this project such and such is important for you?
Yeah.
And one thing that we usually say for clients is that what ends up in the 9 Whys is not like a phrase or something that you write somewhere.
Yeah.
It's what people get in their heads and hearts. It's the experience of going through the 9 Whys. That's the result.
Yeah. Thank you. That's really helpful.
We don't end with one thing. If we have 100 people in the room, we end up with 100 different purposes, but much clearer than the beginning.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, and then you can do a step ahead or not, you know, to decide to like have less than 10, but like 3, or you just leave it there. It depends on what happened.
Right. Yeah. And
the meeting, I mean, the discussion, it's the important, the making meaning, you know, of that. It's the important part.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah, I think yes, absolutely. And then, but having those, I was thinking, Carolina, what you were saying in terms of the purpose statement, that all of the organizations involved might come up with their own purpose statement for why this is important to them, and what is their purpose statement for being engaged. A little bit. And then doing that backward stuff for their organization. What does this make possible? Because often something that has such a big platform like this makes international connections possible, right? It's like, so it's for me, I think part of it is how do we inspire people to think, wait a minute, I don't have to just be looking at clam health or mollusk health or seaweed health. I can now reach out to Singapore because they've got all this wonderful stuff, and this person I've been following, now I can say, hey, we're doing this really interesting thing. I wanted to talk to you about what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes the platform can elevate what's possible for you.
Just being mindful of the time.
Yeah.
Looks like we have a kind of agenda for 3 hours. If the purpose is to get energy and interest for coming again for the next step, we have maybe this acknowledgement of different groups involved, a connection moment, a clear purpose, and then a compelling vision discussed in Conversation Cafe, maybe in Drawing Together. And also what you already have within this group in terms of talent and energy and skills or whatever. And closing with what you can do to bring more people and energy to this. It fits in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
does?
I was doing the math here.
Oh,
And it fits in, so you can have Conversation Cafe or Drawing Together, right? It's what you're
yes.
I was thinking about both because Conversation Cafe gets you in your head and understanding nice, and then maybe use your hands to draw something and share in a different way, you know?
And then I
Right.
think it's a little tight for 3 hours, but if you can have
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's hard. It's hard to pull things back, and then what do you cut out? That's one of my hardest challenges when putting things together.
Yeah. And also, yeah, you can decide between knowing a little bit more who is in the room. You can choose the right structure for that group.
Yes. So for me too, it's the harvest. How can I come up with a harvest that looks really like, wow, we did that in 3 hours? Because that's what's going to get them coming back a second time. Because they might be learning on how to work with their groups that they collaborate with. It's sort of how to really say, okay, we're at the first step here.
And
Yeah,
one way to go on, Carolina.
yeah, one thing that I used to do, it's the questions of the what, so what, now what. So
Yeah.
because you have a lot of things in the wall, so you have the 9 whys, you can have something in the Conversation Cafe, people can write something, or you have the Drawing Together, you have the appreciative interview, you have something that it's already there in the wall.
Yeah.
And so then you ask people to walk around and
Yes.
see what happened and why is that important and what
Yes.
is the next step.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, you can ask people, each group can record using papers and markers, and you can use the
Yes.
walls to hold it. And you can also record the group in video if you have the authorization from everybody to get like images of people working together.
Yeah.
I always remember there was a photographer in the global gathering. I think she was German.
Yeah.
And she said, people who are engaged are so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because when people are engaged in conversation, they really lean in and they smile and they open their eyes. It's a different
Yes.
expression, right? So getting this in video can be a powerful tool.
Yeah. That's
Record,
true.
harvest, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
thank you.
the harvest, I would do not the what, so what, now what entirely,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
You can use the questions.
Yes. Yes. In 5 minutes, we're like a spiral journal, sort of, but like
Or a spiral journal. That's a good idea. So a spiral journal, and or the questions, and you share in small groups. You have like, I don't know, triads and talk about it, and then bring, or one to all, or one
Yeah.
to all with
Yeah,
the
maybe this harvest before the 15% solutions.
yes.
I've seen somebody who did appreciative storytelling, which is a mashup between appreciative interviews and heard, seen, respected. It's a little bit like positive deviancy, but people tell a story about a time that they've collaborated together and it was really amazing. And then after you've done that, you get up off your table and you write it down on a flip chart, all of the ideas that are the qualities and behaviors that you notice. And then you stand up and you rotate to another table and see what they've written, and you pull out the patterns and then the qualities and the behaviors and what was present when all this success was possible. And then you harvest it on the wall like a bingo. Like you ask one person to go up and say, what had to be present? And they said, fantastic listening skills. And then you say, does any other group have anything that resembles this? And they go, bingo, and they come up and they cluster it right away. And what you end up clustering is what your principles might be, like what needs to be present moving forward. And it's done so fast.
It's the raw material for Amin specs, right?
What was that?
It's the raw material for Amin specs, the minimum specification.
Yes, yes. I think what happens when they sense make at the other table, they're pulling out the min specs. Yeah, thank you. I hadn't really thought that the min specs is part of that as well.
So we are going to a one-day workshop, right?
Yeah. No, I was thinking about like if you blend like the what's a what now what spiral journal and 15% solution together.
Yes. Well, you guys do that too.
Question,
Yeah.
15%.
Yeah,
People
I
in
just-
triads to get people like like suggestions to get into action. Then you have the three in one thing.
Don't
Oh,
let
that's so
people
great. I love
hit
that you
us.
mash up like that.
And then you
Yeah.
can do that in, I don't know, like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes for the spiral, like 10 minutes for the spiral journal, more 15
Yeah.
minutes, and then you're done. So
Yeah.
Yulia. So in the recording, you see we did a design as well with Lindsay, so you can also watch in the recording. Shall we start with one consulting group who is really keen to start showing what you come up with? Just raise your hand. I think I'll put on the screen, Carolina, the slides.
yeah, that's a good idea. And we're gonna have what, 2 minutes per group?
3 minutes per group.
Minutes per group.
So it's a short presentation. Who is going to start? Crickets in the room. We can call people as well. We have the power to call people. So consulting group 1, Lori, Juan, Andrea, and Meg. Tell us.
I think you called the number and the name of the person. Lori, you said, right? You said Lori?
Yeah, to start, but Juan is together. Antonio.
Oh, I think Meg and Harry, Meg or Lori should do this.
Yeah, just one person per group.
Yeah, I also think that.
Meg, go for it.
Go
You
for
think that's okay, Lori? Meg, should Meg do it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll take it because I was listening some and I can try to distill. So we talked about like reasonably what we could fit into 3 hours, and we from a beginning impromptu networking of a half hour, just like really building that connection at the beginning. We the next step was this like was agreements, kind of a social contract or almost like group chartering. What needs to be true for today. And we talked about minimum specs for this, maybe like using a 1, 2, 4 all approach, or Lori, tell me the other one. There was something alternative to minimum specs you suggested.
Was
The
it
1 to 4 all.
critical success factors? Just having a solution focused conversation that really identify what needs to be true for us to have whatever you want today, whether it's connected, engaged, like what needs to be true for this to be successful today. I would use a different word than success, but just so you get the point. Yeah.
Then we thought we would spend some time on this topic of what connects and divides us with maybe a conversation cafe approach. Having grounded that in like these kind of respect and mutual agreements that we described before. And then we talked about both like P2P and 9 Whys and decided to really narrow in on like just the purpose and using 9 Whys to just look at the purpose. And that was like, even that maybe is too much to fit into a 3-hour meeting, but trying not to like do too much of the P2P cycle in this first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And we added at the end the break of networking,
Yeah,
with drinks and food sharing, breaking bread together.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with First Nations communities is so important.
We hope that helps.
Thank you. It does.
Nice.
This has all been great.
Nice. So let's go for consulting group 2. Christy, Felix, Catherine, Lini, and Michelle.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt, Fernando? I would like to ask a clap for wonderful group number 1. Thank you very much. Group number 1, you did great. We did great.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you.
That's great.
Now group 2.
I will start sharing for group 2. we have not designed like a flow. We've rather gathered different ideas of methods we think might be useful. We also had the 9 whys that the previous group had. We think it's very important to understand everybody's motivations, perspective, and purpose, and especially matching them with people who are not from the same organization, so they get to know each other. Then we were thinking about drawing together to kind of get a visual representation of what they imagine this could look like. We had impromptu networking and conversation cafe. In general, we thought not to make this focus too much on the task that they have at hand, because they might in the everyday work a lot on the task already, but rather focus on the relationships and conversations between people to get to know each other, building trust, and also improving their overall collaboration. Then we had the idea of wicked questions to come up, because this sounds like a very wicked situation, to use wicked questions to really, get new insights and questions that they might take away from this event to think about. We're thinking about improved prototyping, of practicing to all talk in one voice and what this might look like, and then see is there any patterns or insights that are useful for the everyday. And if not, we were also thinking just if this event is fun for them, it's already giving them energy, and also thinking about their probably most of them doing volunteer work, so it also should be fun oriented and not just productive time. And then we were thinking about TRIZ to really see how this could fail, and then reverse engineer what they might want to change. Yeah.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
The pre-work here, it's also interesting, right, Felix?
We have done pre-work also for you to survey everybody. We think it's just interesting to do a lot of pre-work, because there's so many people involved, and there might be so many hints and clues and information you can gather even before the session starts from participants. And we've been emphasizing the purpose a lot in our conversations. That's why we gave it also some written representation on the slide.
Great, thank you.
Nice. So now with Juan's call, we need to clap for the group 2 as well.
Yeah, sure.
And let's go to the group 3.
3, yeah.
Let's see what they came up with. So Mark, Robin, Maria, and Monica.
Mark, do you feel okay to take this one?
I'll start and then invite you to go. So we felt that with an extremely relational culture of First Nations, that we needed to do something more than just liberating structures at the beginning, which is a way for people to take 20 minutes in groups no larger than 10 to share something about their lives, their name, where they were born, where their grandparents came from, other questions, something like, what value would you like to pass on to this community or this group? Very relational before we dive into impromptu networking. With one question, impromptu networking possibly be, what are your deepest hopes for this group and this initiative? And then we went into 2 alternatives of 60 minutes duration. One would be a one-for-all format repeated 3 times, conversation cafe style. And the question could be, for all 3 rounds, what bold steps do we need to take in the coming year to make our dream a reality? And then another alternative is to do the create the stations process. Same amount of time. It's to dig into deeper themes and ideas of and steps of again, about 60 minutes in duration. And then felt that there needed to be some kind of sifting process. At the end of that 60 minutes, a lot of ideas would be generated. There might be some coalescing of those ideas. in the whole group session, but there would need to be some kind of priority setting so that it didn't overwhelm the group with 10 ideas. Instead, what were the top 3 or 4 strategic priorities? And did we discuss what LS would be used for that sorting? Sure, we got that far.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. Have I captured our conversations? Okay.
Great job.
Well, thank you so much. Holy smokes.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
A bunch of
Yeah.
Thank you, group 3.
And let's share the summary, Carolina. We thought about the feeling of being a nice event, right? Like the kickoff, knowing who is there and why they're there and what they're hoping for. So that's the goal that we put in our hand. And we create this path to acknowledge the different groups, do some experiential exercise for this, connection moment, as you all said, 9 whys, as you all said, compiling vision, as you all said, appreciative interviews is also in the mix, and then close with a mashup of Spiral Journal, what's what now what, and 15% solutions for getting people coming back.
Wow.
What else, Carolina?
Yeah, and in the bottle we have like the things to be aware of and to work, like looking to this. So to have rituals to start and close, so build that with the group, and milestone circles, and how to communicate with the other circles, the biggest circles around.
Yeah, so I think we are kind of aligned in different ideas, different ways, but the same sense of purpose.
Yeah, it was interesting to see, the groups. That's nice. So we have 4 minutes to close, and we want to know what was valuable for you in this gathering.
I want Lindsay to buy the donuts next time.
Yes, I'm going to say, I got to thank you all. There's such amazing value and an insight. This is so worthwhile, and I recommend anybody to take my place, because I've gained so much from this. So thank you all. I'll buy the donuts next time.
Organics, please.
Oh, the carrot stick.
I gained from all the Canadians, I'm an American, a hope that I could become Canadian and leave my country behind.
You're welcome.
I won't be any more political than that.
You're welcome in Mexico, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
In Portugal too.
It's never the people, it's the processes.
It's the processes.
It's a long process.
So to answer your question,
So I just, because we
Carolina, to answer your question, Carolina, is the richness of a diversity of perspectives during preparation. I also get out of these the magic that happens when you subside your ego and allow others to help you change your mind and see things in a different perspective.
Thank you, Juan. And because of the time, so unfortunately we don't have time to listen to everybody. So if you want to write in the chat, and maybe we have time for 1 or 2 voices more. I would love to listen to everybody, and because I like this kind of, the collective intelligence working. It's so enthusiastic, and I like that. Like Juan. Nice. And I think everybody wants to know after Lindsay what happened, and we want to be posted.
I'll write I don't do reports, but I'll send a picture.
And maybe you can invite people to co-facilitate with you as well.
Totally. I mean, totally. If this gets off the ground, I think it's a bunch of facilitators that will help hold this space.
Mhm.
That's what I was saying to Fernando and Carolina. I'm going to need more people.
Yeah, lovely.
So lovely to see this, like the different perspectives, and also how we could, think in the same time, things very alike and align. And I love that. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. It's always a big pleasure to have you all and to share and have fun together.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
good.
next month will be with Andy, and the topic is similar. It's about designing experiences. So stay tuned. We'll be together soon.
Bye-bye. Nice to
Everybody.
meet you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.